the red line policies too. Have any issues with it? I think parents are going to reach out to. That's just we need to email you that. Yeah, yep, yep.
Let me ask you.
And they just,
Jonathan did the art on the cover. He told me.
Here, you going?
I'll check with him.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Nasby? Would you like one of those?
yeah, I got one.
You got
Yep.
one, okay.
I got a Martha's in there. I'm in there
I
too.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
I did some, I went down, she gave me one, and I went down to the
You got some
station.
back, you
Yeah,
give me mine.
absolutely, yes,
Thank you.
ma'am. Ms. McConnell, do you have one?
I have one at the house. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I saw these old shining
took about
stars in
10 of
this
them.
book. Oh, good. I was like, but Greg just ain't leaving no gravy on the table.
Who, me? When?
That's it. How come it's wet?
You said what now?
Somebody slopping on it or something?
Yeah, maybe mucus, hopefully no mucus.
Oh my God.
I know, I'm sorry. Oh, Lima.
I know. That would be tough for you.
Good evening.
I would like to call the Peoria Public Schools Board of Education meeting for February 13th, 2023 to order. Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick. Mr. Claus.
Here.
Mrs. McConnell.
Here.
Mr. Murphy.
Here.
Dr. Ranking.
Here.
Mr. Wilson. President Ross.
Here.
We have 7 present.
Thank you. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would like to recognize our bulletin boards on each side of me. Rolling Acres Middle School on this side, very beautifully done. And on this side, Whittier Primary. Kids are very talented. Thank you. Okay, so our first thing on the agenda would be announcements. Are there any announcements? Any board members have announcements?
Yes.
You got one in front of you too.
Okay.
Interested in attending Illinois Central College? Don't miss out on the Peoria Promise Scholarship. Applications are open at peoriapromise.org now until March 31st. West Peoria residents are also eligible to apply.
Thank you.
Oh, I got another one.
You have another
President
one.
Ross.
All right.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry. Registration is open for spring intercession, held from March 27th to March 31st. Use the link tinyurl.com/springpps or head to the quick link on the front page of the district website to register.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
And
Ms. McConnell?
next Monday, February 20th, all schools and offices will be closed for President's Day.
Thank you. Ms. Costick?
5 Essentials. We need your feedback. The 5 Essentials survey is open now until March 31st for all parents, students, and teachers. Head to tinyurl.com/mypps survey or your school's website's homepage. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rankin.
Tip 411. Submit anonymous tips directly to PPS admin with tip 411. Submitted tips have led to welfare checks, bullying reports, accountability, and more. Check out the homepage of the district website or download the PPS Tips app from the App Store or Google Play. I have another one. Ramley Poetry Slam. On Thursday, February 16th, Manual High School will be hosting their first annual Ramley Poetry Slam. The event starts at 5:30.
Mr. Murphy?
Thank you. The Peoria Public School Foundation scholarships. The Peoria Public School Foundation has many scholarship awards available for PPS seniors in the class of 2023. Please visit ppsfoundation.org/student-scholarships for more information or for the links to apply online. All applications must be submitted by March 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. National SRO Day. National SRO Day is this Wednesday, February 15th. Be sure to celebrate the officers that help keep Peoria Public Schools safe every day. Next on the agenda is the presentation, I believe. I can't pull it up here. Awards and recognitions. I want to ask Mr. Eric Thomas, principal of Knoxville Center, to start with the most improved attendance.
So I will introduce him. Come on up, Mr. Thomas. Good to see you. Board and our listening audience. Traditionally, as a board and superintendent, I have recognized the top 3 schools. We know that attendance for the district, our attendance goal is 95% for each school. It's an important goal for us. When our kids are at school every day, we're able to improve learning and amazing experiences for them. Principals work very, very hard for 8 years, and Mr. Thomas is part of that group. Every building principal has an attendance plan. They know who their kids are who are struggling, the ones who are doing well, and the ones who are in between. They have lots of celebrations, and it's something we do very, very well, understanding that there's so many challenges and things that pull families and kids away from school. I think overall our attendance for this year and last year was about 89 about 89%. And of course, some schools are much higher than that. We would like to get it as closer to our goals as possible. So tonight, we wanted to, Halima and I and the team looked at the schools. We're going to get back to recognizing schools. The top 3 schools, Halima. Tonight we're only talking about Knoxville. Knoxville has the highest improvement in attendance of all Peoria Public Schools. They've had an intentional effort with their non-traditional student population. They've gone from 5.69 in November, December from last year to this year, 7.7%, and then January 2022 to January 2023, you have seen a 9% increase. So that is amazing. So we'll want to celebrate you, celebrate your staff, celebrate your students and their families, and then have you make some remarks about how proud you are of all of the efforts. Thank you.
I'll just read my prepared statement, if that's okay. Good evening, Dr. Karat, President Ross, board members, and administration. Thank you so much for this attendance recognition. Any acknowledgement as it relates to attendance is a win-win for everyone, especially our student graduates. The KCSS is a work in progress that has learned a great deal through much trial and error over the years. Thank you for the opportunity to provide a solid option for students that need an alternative from the traditional high school setting. No, the KCSS is not some bad place where all the bad students go, nor are we some drive-through place where students go to get a free diploma and graduate. We have our own structure and expectations for our students that align with district goals and community needs. Every KCSS staff member has their own specific role and set of responsibilities, but we all play a part in attendance. Whether it is a phone call home, an encouraging word, a home visit, a conference with a parent, a donut on Friday, or a gift card, we are all positively promoting attendance every day. Finally, we strongly embrace the power of relationships modeled to us by district administration. The Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, stated something like, "It's a we thing, not a me thing," when he won the NFL's MVP award this year. The KCSS has a good internal structure with our certified teachers and our support staff, also known as our A-team, but we also receive a great deal of external support. Every month, Mrs. San Phillip and Dr. Simpson provide principals with attendance data, as well as great ideas for interventions that we have implemented. Additionally, we greatly appreciate the assistance and support from food service, payroll, finance, human resources, technology, research, and campus safety, led by Director Boone. And by the way, I saw him last Saturday, and I just have to say that I appreciate how he was incognito that day, but still very much engaged and involved. I had a chance to talk with him, and again, I just appreciate that. On this past Saturday, we also had our first Health and Heritage Day at the KCSS, where we had a blood drive for Black History Month. We had a very successful event with 23 donations. I had the opportunity to donate, and one of the workers was a former KCSS student graduate. She plans to continue college to become a surgical technician. She let me know that she was grateful for the Knoxville Center because as a teen mom, it allowed her the flexibility of scheduling that she needed at that point in her life. After telling her how awesome she was before drawing my blood, I encouraged her to continue pursuing her dreams and let us know if we could provide any support. She did mention that she still really wanted a graduation ceremony because hers was the COVID year that missed in-person graduation. I did encourage her to ask about it because board members and administration will listen to her, and if you can all accommodate her request, you will. So Tiriana, if you're listening out there, make sure you follow through and ask. Thank you.
Excellent job, Mr. Thomas. He put everything in there, including the Chiefs, Board Member McConnell. So you can proudly display this, right? What does it say?
Most improved attendance semester one.
I thought we had the contract for it too. It's not on here. It's not on here. Let me see. Thank you. Next on our agenda is the, was that it for, do you have any more?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dr. Bell is going to talk to us about, present on the speech tournament update. Dr. Bell.
All right. President Ross, Vice President Murphy, school board members, and Dr. Karat. 6 students in our district's speech and debate program recently went to Santa Ana, California, and competed against 630 other speech and debate students in the California Mardi Gras tournament. 5 of the 6 Peoria students who competed advanced to the finals in their respective categories after performing live, resulting in them bringing home 12 awards. Additionally, the students were only 5 points away from taking home a mid-sized school recognition. Upon their return to the Peoria airport, a crowd of families and coaches welcomed them back and celebrated their successes, which was done to let the students know that they have a village behind them. Please join me in welcoming to the podium the District Speech and Debate Program Director, Ms. Mariela Garcia Alvarado, who will give us a recap of the students' experiences. She will also be joined by 2 of the students who will highlight their experiences. Ms. Garcia Alvarado, please join me and give us a recap of our students' participation in the Mardi Gras Speech Tournament in Santa Ana, California. Ms. Garcia Alvarado.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us tonight. So I just want to make a slight correction. We actually had all 6 students advance into the final rounds. And so I want to congratulate all the students for all the work that they did. I will be sending you a video to recap how, it all looked like. But day 1, our students traveled, and while they were on the plane, they were still practicing. So this is just how hard they were working the entire time. Day 2, we went to the beach, and we also went to visit downtown Disney, where the students were able to, do some sightseeing as well. But right after that, they went back into practice. And then the next day, we competed. One of the things that I loved about the students was that they really tried to show off how hard everybody works in Peoria 150. And so as other people were coming in, they were doing what we call talking to a wall. And when you're taking speech seriously if you're the one that's talking to a wall while everybody's passing by you. And this is exactly what our students were doing to just make sure that they brought back those awards. And like Dr. Karat said, we were only 5 points away from bringing back a championship title. Let me give you a little bit of an idea of what that means. We went up against schools that had 30 students, 20 students. And we were also considered a mid-sized school because our students were not just doing one event, they were doing 2 events. So again, it takes a lot of work to do that. And to be 5 points away when we're going up against a team of 30 just shows you how much they're doing. And I want to give you a little bit of a taste of what we ended up taking to the California trip. And so Ms. Remedy Collins is going to present a short snippet of her speech, and it is titled Black Casting.
In Illinois, we have lakes and rivers, but not oceans. I dream of seeing the ocean one day, and possibly, just maybe, seeing a dolphin, starfish, or even a mermaid. I know. Many say that mermaids aren't real. But if that is true, why are so many people hung up on a mermaid being black? New York Daily News reporter Leonard Green, in their September 25th, 2022 article, Black Mermaid Outrage, explains how even fictional storytelling segregates and rejects the visibility of Black, Indigenous, and other non-white groups. And although the creators of live-action Disney Little Mermaid film expresses that Holly Bailey's voice and personality match the actress necessary to fill the role of Ariel, many people went online to express their outrage at the mermaid being black. And if trivializing mermaids isn't enough, NPR on September 18th, 2022, explains that people are just as upset as the new Lords at the new Lord of the Rings issues with black actors. So today, we're going to explore the subject, implications, and adapting diversity in films.
And I like they have their references and everything.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And we also have one more student. He is a back-to-back-to-back champion, and he will be talking to you a little bit more about what his experience was at this trip. So if you can join me, let's go ahead and welcome up to the stage. Okay. So go ahead and present yourself and then tell them a little bit more about what you learned on this trip.
Hello, my name is Antonio Schwab, and we learned a lot of things about ourselves and our speech and about each other. We made friends on the trip, and we also made a lot of improvement on our speeches, and we became better at speaking, and became better friends. And I see the tournaments a lot different, a lot more different than before. When I look around in the big room where we all are for the tournament, I don't see my enemies. I see a friend that I am competing against. I feel that we should all work together because we are all a village, and it takes a village.
That was all improvised, but as you can see, public speaking and practicing all of that helps our students with being able to understand how they can present themselves and share their own voice. And just to let you know, we also got interviewed by WCBU to understand a little bit more about what happened at this trip because, again, it takes a huge effort for the students to come back with the amount of awards that they did. Last year, we only had one break. This year, all 6 students broke. So that is a huge improvement that we've made. And we're also partnering with Bradley right now to make sure that we are going to offer a practicum for their foreign language students so that they can help our Spanish speakers also rise to the top. Thank you so much for everything that you do, and please continue to support us.
President Ross, if you don't mind, I just want to make sure I recognize the parents, the caregivers of our students. So parents, if you will, please rise, be recognized. Thank you. Thank you, President Ross.
Thank you. President Ross, may I say something?
Sure.
Thanks. At the next board meeting, I'll bring an action item to you for continuation of this program, not only for next year, but also I spoke with the team, Mariella and the rest of the team, and they would like to put a robust summer program together so that the kids continue to excel and thrive. Saturday, Board Member Wilson and I were at Von Steuben. You want to make some comments, Board Member Wilson? There was a nice turnout. There was a Mardi Gras tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Karat, for that. It was amazing. I have 2 children myself that participate in it. Love the confidence that they exude and gain from speaking and relaying their speech to the judges. So definitely want to see this. Looking forward to next board meeting so that we can expand. And I also like the idea of the summer program as well, so they can learn during the summer. So
Thank you. And President Ross, in an executive session today, we talked a lot, and all of the other board members, about reading and writing. And we were strategizing in closed session how we can continue to improve the growth and the proficiency. And for sure, we have seen those children who are involved in Advantage Communication Speech Tournament are making significant gains and growth in those areas. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Before we begin the public comment section portion of our board meeting, I want to take a moment to read a reminder to everyone here this evening. This is first and foremost a board meeting held for the purpose of conducting school district business. It is not a town hall meeting, but a meeting to conduct business. Each speaker is given 5 minutes to address the board. Comments may be made on almost any matter relating to the operation of schools. Each person appearing before the board will be treated with courtesy and respect, and the board requests the same in return. In light of the privacy of personnel and student matters, commenters are strongly discouraged from speaking about individual staff or students during public comments. Commenters are instead encouraged to first raise such concerns privately with the board president or administration. The board, however, recognizes each commenter's First Amendment rights. Thus, it will not prohibit commenters from speaking about individual staff or students, subject to well-organized expectations under the First Amendment, such as obscenities and threats, fighting words, or incidental violence. So with that said, I would like to ask Mr. Charlie Thomas, as you want to make a public comment.
All right, good evening to everyone. Some of this stuff, I've been gone a while, and I usually come just about every board meeting, but I've been busy with other things. So first of all, shout out to my good friend Terry Knapp, who's battling a few things. Hopefully we can get him back here at some point. And a shout out, as always, to the fantastic security staff. And I think I heard someone mention it's their week of appreciation. They need a month or maybe 2 months. I'm going to read. So this means it came from other sources, but I do agree with what I'm reading. A couple board meetings ago, a parent came up here and named a teacher and called her a predator, going right back to what Ms. Ross said about decorum and what you should say at this podium. That should not be allowed ever. I mean, I don't know why it was. I wasn't here that night. I have since spoken to the teacher. Teachers are not allowed to say kids' names for privacy. I agree 1,000%. You also tell every person who comes up here to be respectful, even though it is not proven that way for certain people. It seems like certain people get a lot more leeway than others, and that includes board members. The teacher was not here to defend herself, and you as the president should have stopped the conversation. And by what you read tonight, hopefully this will never happen again. This district has several teachers from overseas who began in January. They got here to an empty apartment, except a blow-up mattress, and I think a $50 gift card to Goodwill. Now, if this is all true, which the people that told me this, it must be, this is shameful. How can you do that? We got to do better than that. It doesn't matter what third party you went through to hire the teachers, they deserve a furnished apartment. They are giving up their whole way of life to come help us out. They are bringing the bare minimum from overseas. Then they are put into one of the schools with the worst behavior issues, even though that staff and administration are fighting the battle, but they are being put into a spot that's pretty tough. We all know a mentor has to also teach their class and can't be in the room with the new teachers. We've had a mentor program for a long time in 150. A good thing, but not adequate in this situation. I know you all like solutions. I have one. We don't have enough subs as it is, so hire retired teachers for a month to spend each day in the classroom with the new teachers so they can get acclimated with procedures and curriculum. Pay their retired teachers a little more than the sub rate, and this will entice them since they are, with all that experience, and better qualified to help these new teachers succeed. You have multiple retired teachers in this area, and you're wasting that resource. Most retired teachers, including myself, do not want to teach the whole year, as in the rehire program. So hire them on a monthly basis to support the new teachers. It doesn't matter how much support you think you're giving them outside the classroom, they need it inside the classroom. Also, it was brought to my attention, a board member mentioned something about there's no social promotion in this district. Please talk to teachers. There is, and it has been for 30 years. I notice on the agenda that your cabinet's contract is up for a vote. We have less kids in the district and more cabinet members than when we started teaching. This makes no sense to this since we don't need that many cabinet members with this amount of kids leaving our district. The cabinet need to be made up of people who live in Peoria, buy things in Peoria, and hopefully have taught in Peoria, with emphasis on taught, actually classroom teachers. Let's erase and start fresh. If your board or your cabinet qualifies under this, then by all means rehire them. But no one knows a classroom like a teacher. How about to be hired on the cabinet, each member must go into a classroom once a month. And then the exit ticket, they must show that the kids actually learned what they taught them. Boy, that'd be fun. Real quick on the board election coming up, I see that got resolved. That's the way it should have been in the first place. I don't know what happened there. It's not my business. I'm not running. If I was, I'd be more involved. But it's nice to have the two names on the ballot. That gives the public a chance to pick who they really want. And finally, it's my favorite time of the year. It's regional basketball season, girls and guys. We got some great teams in this district. Hopefully they'll show out and maybe get one of them to, which is, it's not at Peoria anymore, so that's kind of different. They gotta go down to Champaign, but hopefully they'll get there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Ross. We're really proud of our exchange teacher program, and we're providing a ton of support for them. I mean, obviously, they're coming in to fill our vacancies wherever they are, and they will be the first to tell you that when compared to other teacher exchange programs throughout the United States, PPS goes above and beyond. There's quite a bit of support from Ms. Rose to Mr. Roweather to curriculum team that have seen, and helping with the transition. So we're continuing to work with them, and we're really excited. There was a professional development training you did, was that last week? Last week, and we're very well attended, and they were very appreciative. And I think that's it. Retention cabinet. I think that's it. Thank you.
So moved.
Mrs. Costick? Mr. Claus?
Aye.
Mrs. McConnell?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Aye.
Dr. Ranking? Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
President Ross? We have 7 ayes. Motion carries.
Thank you, President Ross. Actually, we're going to recognize, we have a PowerPoint. Not sure how long it is. I didn't get a chance to take a look at it. Do you know how long it is, Alima? 3 minutes? Oh, okay, perfect. We are going to recognize our teachers. They're doing an amazing job. And I think there are 3 There's a list of 5 to 8 teachers who have had more than 70% of their students reach the NWEA growth goal for the winter test. And we have teachers from Annie Jo, Glen Oak, Lincoln, Mark Bills, and Elise Fort Allen for ELA. And for math, again, reaching 70% of the kids reaching the NWEA growth goal. For math, Annie Jo, Liberty, Mark Bills, Rolling Acres. Then we also have a category of 34 teachers who had accelerated growth on guided reading levels for their students, and a number of schools from Hines to Keller to Franklin, Trewin, Maud Sanders, Charter Oak, Lincoln, C.T. Vivian on there, and then another category of 29 teachers who had accelerated students' growth in iReady math diagnostic. And again, Annie Jo, Charter Oak, C.T. Vivian, Keller, Lincoln, Northmore, Whittier. And so we just put a quick PowerPoint together, and we'll probably put it on the website, right, Halima? I would like it on the website as well, so that, again, we can continue to recognize our teachers. Thank you. Yeah, let's take a quick look at it, because the board hasn't, and I haven't seen it either. It's 3 minutes. I think it's worth it. So that will be my superintendent update. Thank you, Board. Not only are they highly effective, but you can see they're handsome and very beautiful. Thank you. Thanks, Alima. And thank you to Amanda Brown and the curriculum team for compiling, Dr. Wilson, your team for compiling that data for me. That's good. We'll continue that as well. Thanks.
Financial update.
Thank you. Year-to-date receipts are at 150.5 million. Year-to-date expenditures total 142.9 million. So far through mid-February, we're about $7.5 million revenue over receipts. Both revenue and the receipts are trending under budget. And just to kind of give you a sense of how that's so, by the end of February, we typically receive about 54% of our monies. And right now, through mid-February, we're sitting at about 50%. Usually by the end of February, we have spent about 60% of our budget. Right now, we're at about 51%. So we still have a couple of weeks to go in February, but as I mentioned, so far, both revenue and expenditures are trending under budget. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Proposed expenditures over $2,500. $2,500. No questions of Mr. Williams? Report of request under the Freedom of Information Act and the status of such request.
Thank you, President Ross. Since our board meeting on January 23rd, we received 6 new requests regarding information acts. Of these new requests, 3 have been closed, and there were 2 pending requests noted on January 23rd. Of those, 0 requests remain open, so there is 0 requests currently open. We have received 61 requests for this calendar year at a cost of $3,050. Thank you.
Vice President Murphy, would you like to do the consent?
Thank you, President Ross. Consent agenda number 1, gifts to school district, year-to-date, $78,374.42. Number 2, payment of bills. Number 3, payment for travel. Number 4, human resource report. Number 5, approval of Woodruff students to ProStart State Invitational at Kendall College. Number 6, Dr. C.T. Vivian Classroom Addition Project. Number 7, approval of Next Level Academy curriculum and activities. Number 8, Annie Jo Gordon Chicago field trip. Number 9, Peoria Jazz All-Stars trip. Number 10, dual language guided reading literacy libraries, the Okapi Educational Publishing. And number 11, administrative contract approval. Number 12, approval of Cognia contract to provide regional accreditation services for all PPS K through 12 schools. Number 13, approval of field trip to Washington, D.C. for students in the Freedom School program. That is all to the consent agenda items.
Items in the consent agenda. Thank you. Thank you. Are there any items that, in the consent agenda that any board member would like to pull for a separate vote? Are there any, may I have a?
Number 11.
I'm sorry?
Number
Could you
11,
speak up
please,
just a little
Ms. Ross.
bit?
Number 11, please.
Okay. Any other items that anyone want to pull? Okay. The consent agenda, may I have a motion and a second on all items except number 11?
Second.
Any discussion on any of the items? Seeing none? Would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick? Mr. Claus?
Aye.
Mrs. McConnell?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Aye.
Dr. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
President Ross?
Aye.
We have 7 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Number 11, Mr. Klaus.
Yeah, we've talked about the living requirement in the past. I think that we need to instate some sort of living requirement within the district for these positions. So my position would be to table this, add an addendum that would have a living requirement with a grace period. And then I'd be happy to approve all these personnel. But we have to vote on it tonight, then I will vote no.
Any other comments?
So is he requesting to table?
I don't think so. I didn't
That's
hear
what
him
he
say.
said. Yeah. He wants to table this.
Are you requesting to table this particular item, Mr. Klaus?
For me to approve it, I would need to see a living requirement.
Are you requesting to table it?
Sure, I request a table. Yeah.
That's what I'm asking. Is he making a motion to table the item? Or
Yes. Yes.
then we need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick? Mr. Claus?
Aye.
Mrs. McConnell?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Aye.
Dr. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
President Ross?
Aye.
7 ayes, motion carries.
Okay. So we don't deal with the 11 right now. That's been tabled. I'm getting to that. Okay, under deliberation items, number 14, expulsions.
Number 14, a motion for expulsion with the expulsion to be held in abeyance.
Second.
Is there any discussion on number 14? Would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick? Mr. Claus?
Aye.
Mrs. McConnell?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Aye.
Dr. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
President Ross?
Aye.
7 ayes, motion carries.
Number 15, expulsions.
Number 15, a motion for the proposed action for expulsion.
A second, but
I think this is
I think-
different.
well, I thought we amended.
This is the
didn't
expulsion
we?
held in abeyance, then now we're talking about straight expulsions. The,
We had one on the amended version at the very top.
So did we say amended as amended?
This was already amended. They
Oh, okay,
updated it.
okay. Oh, that's right.
Yep, they updated
Okay.
it since we
Yep.
met on Friday.
Yep.
Yep. So,
let's read the motion.
yep. So, the Board of Education approves expulsion listed on the report dated February 13th, 2023 be approved as presented.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on that one? Seeing none, would you call the roll?
Mrs. Costick? Mr. Claus?
Aye.
Mrs. McConnell?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Aye.
Dr. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
President Ross?
Aye.
7 ayes, motion carries.
16, revocation of expulsions held in abeyance.
The Board of Education approved revocation of expulsion held in abeyance as listed on the report dated February 13th, 2023 as approved as presented.
Aye. Second.
That word.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Costick? Mr. Claus?
Aye.
Mrs. McConnell?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Aye.
Dr. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
President Ross?
Aye.
7 ayes, the motion carries.
Presentation and suggestions by board members. Are there any presentations or suggestions by board members? No? Reports from board committees. Any Dr. Rankin?
The Special Education Behavior Committee, we're making a lot of progress. We will be able to present something at the end of this year, but our next full group meeting is March 8th here and on Teams from 4 to 5.
It's PM, right?
Yes.
Just kidding.
The Building and Grounds Committee will meet on Wednesday, February the 15th, via Teams at 8:30 a.m.
All right. Any other board committees? Policy? Anything for policy?
When is our policy committee will meet again on? Okay. We're currently looking for a date for the policy committee, so we don't have that going on, but we'll update as we get it.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Klaus, you have anything on your committee?
We'll get a date.
Pardon me?
Said we'll get a date.
Oh, okay. Okay. I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
You're adjourned.